Today, many young people are getting into a relationship, but when a 17-year-old guy gets involved in a consensual relationship with a 16-year-old girl, the guy is tried under the POCSO Act. Why? Just because the girl is considered a minor according to the law, despite mutually agreeing to it. In India, where talking about sex is considered a taboo, the Bombay High Court came up with a course changing appeal on the 10th of July. It asked the Indian government to consider the reduction of the age of consensual sexual relation in India. This came to light when a bench led by Justice Bharati Dangre heard the appeal of a 25-year-old man who in 2019 was sentenced to 10 years in prison for maintaining consensual relations with his 17-year-old partner. Both the man and the girl were in a mutually consenting relationship and were engaged. According to the Muslim marriage law, the girl was legal to perform the nikah, but the man was criminalized under the POCSO Act. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences or the POCSO Act states the age of consent is 18 years. That is, girls below 18 cannot legally consent to sexual relationships. POCSO criminalizes all activities for those under the age of 18, even if the act was committed by consent, said the High Court. Justice Bharati Dangre referred to the increasing number of cases under the POCSO Act where men are arrested and tried even when the victims, being adolescents, maintain they were in a mutually agreeable relationship. Under POCSO, it would mean statutory rape if one is less than 18 and legally too young to consent to their sex, and since her consent is no consent in the eyes of law, noted Justice Dangre. She said the protection of children should also enable young people to extend their boundaries and exercise safe choices, adding the penal approach to the adolescent's sexuality has impacted their life to barrier-free access to sexual and reproductive health services. The criminalization of romantic relationships has overburdened the justice system. She gave examples of countries such as Germany, Italy, Portugal, and Hungary, where 14-year-old adolescents are considered capable of giving their consent to sex. Also, in London and Japan, the age of consent is said to be of 16 and 13 years, respectively. Justice Dangre mentioned that in the growing era of internet and social media, the kids, especially adolescents and teenagers, get attracted to one another and indulge in consensual sexual relationships. From the age of marriage, as sexual activities do not happen only in the confines of marriage, and not only the society, but the judicial system must also take note of this important aspect. According to a report in India Times, in India, over time, the age of consent has been increased, with the POCSO Act pegging it at 18, probably one of the highest ages globally. The majority of countries have set their age of consent in the range of 14 to 16 years, noted Justice Dangre. Sexual autonomy encompasses both the right to engage in wanted sexual activity and the right to be protected from unwanted sexual aggression. Only when both aspects of adolescents' rights are recognized, human sexual dignity can be considered to be fully respected, said the High Court. The High Court also said that the POCSO Act was enacted to protect children from sexual exploitation. However, it has created a grey area as it has resulted in criminalizing consensual adolescence and teenage relationships. The concerns about the rising number of cases where minors are punished under the POCSO Act are being expressed by various fronts in distinct proceedings before the Supreme Court, the High Courts of the country, as well as the POCSO Special Court, where the POCSO cases are tried. Despite a clear stand being taken by a female in such an act that it was a case of consensual sex, the male stand convicted under the POCSO Act with a specific reasoning being that POCSO Act was never intended to include consensual sex with the minor, said Justice Dangre. The Bombay High Court has observed that the criminalization of romantic relationships under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act has overburdened the justice system as reported by Bar and Bench on Friday. That's all for now. For more such news updates, follow HW News English. Thank you.